Please welcome 100 King Kalen Christian and 100 member Ronald Small to the stage.
Good evening. I'm King Kalen Christian.
Good evening. I'm 100 member Ronald Small.
Now, just because we are taught to be leading men in our personal and future professional pursuits, don't assume it's all fun and games. It can get ugly.
That's true. But instead of pulling out the boxing gloves, we encourage you all to pull out your critical thinking, correct?
Absolutely. But have you ever seen a room full of passionate kids with a lot to say? If not, you're about to take a look.
Please welcome to the stage our 2018 debate competition team, Jordan Moore, Regal Lindsay, William Murphy, and Cassius Smith. But before we begin, we'd like to give a very, very special thank you to Marriott Gaylord, Opryland Resort and Convention Center for hosting our debate competition and for their staff serving as coaches and judges.
Tonight's debate will be over is technology making us more isolated and less social. Debaters, the floor is yours.
Hello, I'm Jordan Moore, and my colleague and I believe that, in fact, social media makes us less social and more alone. And there are many ways in which the brain can be confused and conflicted due to the use of our cellular devices, and here's why. First, we'll deal with the fact that most of you guys have phones in your pockets right now. And I also figure that some of you are recording on these same phones to post them on social media. And I also hope that you're going to call your family on these same phones and tell them how great of a debater I am. So you use your phone a lot, don't you? Come on, now admit it. Now this goes to the fact that we have become extremely reliant on our phones. In a study conducted by the Pew Research Center, they found that out of 2,277 people, 51% of the cell phone users use their phones to get information needed right away. And 27% said they had trouble doing something without their phone. They had physical trouble doing something without a cellular device in their hand. If that's not reliant, I don't know what is. Utilizing your phone as often as many people do hurts you mentally and more so physically. It interferes with your spelling, social quiddity, and interpersonal skills. The National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders reports that about 15% of Americans have reduced capacity to hear high-frequency sounds due to the use of technology. Can you hear me now? Constant use of the phone can also worsen your eyesight. And the Barnett Dooley Perkinson's Eye Center states the prolonged use of technology can cause an array of eye problems like eye strain, headache, focusing difficulty, itchy, burning, or watery eyes, and even dry eye. And this can all happen to you just because you wanted to spend that extra minute on Instagram instead of going to sleep. The last point is that technology can affect your relationships. In an article by the author Brandon McDaniel with the Institute of Family Studies, he says that a fellow researcher interviewed married women, and over 70% said that technology affects the relationship in a negative way. Y'all women can vouch, right? This includes actively texting others while on dates, interrupting a family meal to text, or even ignoring their family to watch their favorite television show. And this can have a lasting negative impact on those relationships. And to raise of hands, how many of you guys have their man cave? Any raise of hands? You know, that place where you have the one big screen TV, the amazing sound system, with high-speed internet connection, video games, and every other technological gadget available. This high use of technology can create a disconnect with the rest of the family and make you less social when the family is in the room. So, in conclusion, technology is not as great as it is cracked up to be. It can affect relationships in a negative way and destroy them in the process. We are too reliant on our devices, using them as a crutch. And finally, they affect our physical and mental health, destroying us from the inside out. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Regal Lindsay, and I will be arguing why technology does not make you less social and more alone. Technology allows people to contact anyone around the world at any time and express their feelings about a topic they are passionate about, making people more social and feel less isolated. The use of technology, specifically social media, text messaging, and email, permit people to interact with almost anyone around the world in seconds. Technology allows people to express their feelings about topics they're passionate about. Different points of view are seen and understood because people that were not given a voice can express their opinions. Entertainers, politicians, athletes, or just famous people in general can see how their fans or supporters feel about them and either praise them or provide constructive criticism. Pretty much hate. Families with a family member in the armed forces can call and stay in touch with their relatives so the serviceman feels less alone and the family remains connected. Earlier generations always criticized the technology, believing it might harm the world's social skills. The 19th century, civilians criticized the Pony Express, a system of U.S. mail delivery by continuous horse and rider. Civilians of the 20th century were afraid of telephones, thinking it would alter face-to-face conversing. And the people of the 21st century currently claim that social media is harming our social skills. With time, however, technology continues to improve despite the naysayers. Voicing one's opinion has been permitted, but was difficult to do without a platform to express your feelings. The internet is that platform. Brittany Levy, a writer from True Voice Media, claims with the recent prevalence of blogs and advocacy groups, the internet is a place to express yourself with those who share similar beliefs. Whether you're a feminist, a civil rights activist, an LGBT advocate, or simply a passionate person, your voice can be heard through the multitude of social media sites. According to Irish Examiner, online relationships can be hugely beneficial. At one end, we have our close and personal friends, whom we know intimately and vice versa. At the other end are our acquaintances with whom we are still friendly even though we only occasionally meet them, old school and college friends, past work colleagues, or people you meet at conferences, weddings, or other social gatherings. Every day, American troops risk their lives to protect this country we call home. The impact they have on leaving their homes to keep us safe, unfortunately, has a negative side. Julie Setterbaum, a writer from the Journal of Adolescent Health, claims children in military families experience high rates of mental health, trauma, and related problems. About 30% reported feeling sad or hopeless for 2 weeks during the past 12 months, and nearly 1 in 4 reported having considered suicide. The use of technology brings mothers and fathers closer to their children back at home. In conclusion, technology allows people to be in contact with others around the world at any time and express their feelings about a topic they're passionate about, making people more social and feel less alone. People and groups can voice their opinions through the internet. Soldiers being able to call and FaceTime their families back home helps the mutual loneliness the soldier and family members share. Technology will continue to improve and bring the world together as a whole. That is why it is 100% true that technology does not make you less social and more alone. Quite the opposite. Thank you.
Hello, I am William Murphy, and I will argue that technology is too important to social interactions for this claim of isolation to be made. In fact, one sec. Hey Alexa, I've got a debate today. You know anything about technology? Right, thanks. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, technology. You guys remember pagers, right? Yeah. How about floppy disk? Or even those computers heavier and taller than I am. Compare all that to your ability to communicate with others today, and there is literally no comparison. My competition has the nerve, the audacity to claim technology is making us more alone. Right. Yet according to pewinternet.org, in 2018, 68% of you use Facebook. Sounds pretty hypocritical. Sarcasm aside, I wish to ask the question, what is technology? It is important for us to recognize the diction in our topic. Technology is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. From this Oxford definition, we can include automobiles, the internet, electricity, airplanes, architecture, all devices ever invented, almost anything. Tell me, is the ability to drive a car to your friend's house rather than ride in a horse carriage limiting your social interaction? Does globalization make you feel more lonely? Or, might I ask, are you so limited to the social implications and benefits of social media and cellular devices that you are blind to the improvements of technology on everyday social life? The problem is in the statement. Technology isn't making us do anything. To claim it is discredits the power of human ingenuity and free will. It was put best by Anno Dash, an expert in the field, who challenged the perspective of the many articles claiming technology is forcing us to disconnect. He says, so often we point the finger at our technologies for creating the fears, the insecurities, the tensions that arise in our social lives as they get increasingly run by social software. Dash continues, if tech is to blame for our feelings, then certainly we can make apps, sites, and software that make us joyously celebrate for the good time that our loved ones are having. It's not technology that's doing this to us. It's the way we're using it. The problem, however, comes in our unwillingness to accept this human fault. In conclusion, the use of technology is not making us less social. It is our misuse, or, to the point of our opponent, abuse of technology, which has put the many, few, who lack self-control, in a position of social disconnectedness. In reality, technology is a tool which has brought us to the pinnacle of communication and reduced time-space compression infinitely. Humans are inherently social creatures. Isn't that right, Alexa? Thank you.
Now, before technology, or as my parents like to refer to as the good old days, activities like picnics and drive-ins let our community experience an organic world where socializing face-to-face was a part of everyday life. Places like pizzerias and arcades were popular spots for people to socialize and meet new people inside of the community. But ever since the advancements of technology over the last couple of decades, we now lack the same amount of social activities as our prior generations. I believe that because technology is disconnecting us from our traditional social skills, how it has made us more dependent on technology, and how it filters our minds, that the use of technology is making us more isolated and less social. Through these next few claims, I shall validate my claim. Before we can sit on the couch and binge watch entire episodes of Blackish while stuffing our face down with Domino's pizza, there are different ways to watch our favorite movies and television shows. For example, a place like Blockbusters, you can rent DVDs and VHS and bring them back a couple days later. But now that we have the internet, franchises like Blockbusters have gone out of business. Even stores like Toys R Us, which filed in bankruptcy in 2017, are going out of business because kids rather play on their iPhones and on their gaming systems. According to a survey from the Kaiser Family Foundation, in 2010, 69% of kids 11 through 14 had their own cell phones, and 31% of kids 8 through 10 had their own cell phones. At ages like this, the human brain aren't even halfway done developing. Kids today are not learning rudimentary social skills, which are vitally important to achieve success in today's society. Even the way schools teach are different. Common Core standards do not call for cursive instruction as mandatory part of curriculum, according to Denise Smith with momsrising.org that highlight new school standards. The sad part about it is when I was in elementary school, cursive writing was a necessity that we had to learn. Now the entire curriculum and assignments are completed on laptops and computers. We don't even have to learn to write with our hands anymore. By the time that I am in college, classes will be online and I will not even have to interact with my professors. Where's the socializing? Where's the learning? And I feel that it's slowly leading our world into a place of needing social guidance. My second point is that we are becoming too dependent on technology. With everything being connected to the internet, some people have issues limiting themselves. We have zero self-control when it comes to it. Admit it, we're addicted. In a post from dailymail.com, people spend an average of 20 more minutes daily on their phones than they do sleeping. We can't even keep our earbuds out long enough to have a real conversation because we are so engrossed to listening to music. It has gotten so bad that when kids are on punishment, adults take their technological devices away from them. Now, you know it and I know it. There should be limits set for children before they are falling into a state of addiction. And parents need to mind the limits too. My last point is how technology filters our minds. While on social media, we see ads, commentaries, and postings offering a plethora of opinions and different beliefs and statements. People can be easily misled by these postings, which contain one-sided or non-verified information. People don't even have the time to research anymore. Many of people hear a statement on television and post it on social media without even knowing if it is a true statement or not. We have become so addicted to technology and the ease of quickly getting information at our fingertips that we don't even take the time to validate it anymore. If people keep relying on technology and social media to learn and understand what is going on in this world, we will spiral downhill. The term social media is misnomered. We need to get out in the world, have face-to-face conversations, meet people of all different ethnicities and cultures. That's the only way we can truly be connected and be more social. Thank you.